it going, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddison Hill, and yes, you already know it's time for another Pop Off with Maddison. For today's Pop Off, I'm going to be talking about Mr. Justin and Hailey Bieber. So yesterday on my mini Pop Off, I talked about this video that has gone viral where Justin Bieber is seemingly yelling at Hailey Bieber while the two were in Vegas, and it sparked a major discussion in my Instagram DMs, so therefore I wanted to bring it to my YouTube channel and talk to you guys about it and see how you feel. And having said that, let me take one real quick moment and say if you aren't following me on Instagram, please go ahead and do so. That is the easiest way to communicate with me directly. I'm usually pretty good about responding to my DMs, and we can always talk about celebrity tea and whatever else. Okay, now that I've done that little shameless plug, I also want to point out that conveniently as of today, there have been several reports coming out, starting with Just Jared, about how Justin Bieber was not yelling at Hailey. So it's good to know that Scooter Braun can still do his job amidst his own marital issues. Yes, I saw the news that him and his wife are currently separating. Is it karma? I don't know. Is it infidelity? I don't know. All the people are saying is that they have been having issues for the past few months. So we're definitely gonna have to go ahead and wait on that. But in the meantime, let's get to the reason why you clicked on this video and get to unwrapping these Justin and Hailey facts. All right, so over the weekend, Justin and Hailey Bieber were both in Las Vegas. According to E! News, they were there for a couple of reasons. One, to celebrate Kendall Jenner's 818 tequila, and then they were also there to celebrate the opening of a Delilah location in Las Vegas. For those of you who don't know what Delilah is, it is a very popular club in LA, and now they opened a location at the Wynn in Las Vegas. Anyway, when Justin and Hailey went to Delilah on Saturday, they were reportedly joined by several of their friends like Justine Skye, Hailey's stylist Maeve Riley, which is very interesting, Ryan Good, and a few others. A source told E! News, quote, "The group arrived to Delilah after pre-gaming on a party bus that took them on the strip and then to the venue. They arrived around 11:30 and were escorted to their own private table. The club was packed and many people were trying to approach their table." This insider that was reportedly close to the venue went on to tell E! News that Justin even gave an impromptu performance and performed some of his songs, saying, quote, "He looked really happy to be singing and was dancing and vibing with the crowd. He was smiling and in a great mood. Several bottles of 818 tequila were brought out by club employees and everyone was chanting 818 and holding the bottles in the air. They were serving specialty cocktails with 818, including one that Kendall created, and had bottles on tables throughout the club. Sounds like quite the fantastic Vegas night if you ask me," and the source added that Hailey and her friends also appear to be having a great time. They were reportedly drinking and dancing together, and they all didn't leave Delilah until around 2 a.m. Now, despite all of the positive press around Justin and Hailey's Vegas trip and the fact that they were really trying to push that they were in a great mood and having a great time, there was a TikTok that was posted and went viral where Justin seems to be yelling at Hailey and pointing his finger in her face. I'm gonna go ahead and play the video for you guys, and I'm just gonna tell you right now, you cannot hear what exactly Justin is saying to Hailey. It's worth mentioning that that video gained millions of views on TikTok and has since been taken down. However, that's not stopped it from continuing to go viral on social media and Twitter. Just like that video hasn't gone away, the narrative that Justin was yelling at Hailey hasn't gone away either. That is until today, when Just Jared was the first to report that Justin was not yelling at Hailey. Just Jared reported tweets from an eyewitness who saw the interaction go down firsthand between Justin and Hailey. The first tweet that Just Jared referenced was a tweet from Bieber's Clubhouse that says, "He was not yelling and we were there to witness what went down. He was all adrenaline. It doesn't matter how the it appears to you. Don't spread false information on someone, especially when you acknowledge that's just what it appears to you. That's defamation of character." This was in a response to another tweet that was pointing out that Justin's behavior looked like he was yelling at Hailey. Just Jared went on to report another tweet from the same account that says, quote, "I took this of Justin right before that video was taken. As you can see, the video that was along with this tweet is of Justin performing on stage." The tweet goes on to say, "He was on straight adrenaline from performing. He wasn't mad at Hailey and he wasn't yelling at her. I hate how he's always painted as the bad guy when he's the furthest thing from it." Now, since Just Jared reported about those eyewitness tweets, several other reports and several other headlines about Justin not yelling at Hailey have followed, and obviously it's very clear that the narrative's trying to be shifted. Clearly, I have some thoughts about this, and I know you guys will too. Please remember to keep it very respectful down there in the comments. Whatever side you're on, just please keep it respectful. And now let's go ahead and get to a shambong. Got a little ambitious there with that shambong, but honestly, it was needed because whenever I talk about the Biebers, the trolls really come out. Okay, so here's the thing. When I first watched that video, on my very first viewing of the video, right when I clicked on it and pulled it up, I thought, okay, that definitely does not look good. Again, on first glance, it absolutely looks like Justin is yelling at Hailey. He has the finger point going, his brow is furrowed. It just does not look good at all. However, after the first time I watched that video, then I went over to Twitter and did some research to see what people were saying about the video, and there were several people who witnessed the interaction firsthand who were saying that Justin wasn't directly yelling at Hailey and that he just had adrenaline from his performance. In addition to seeing those eyewitness tweets, I also logically thought to myself, there is no way in you know what that Justin Bieber is going to be publicly caught yelling at his wife and berating her in a casino in Las Vegas. That would absolutely not be good for Justin's image, considering one of his very prominent ex-girlfriends called him toxic and emotionally abusive, and it also would be horrible for Hailey's image, considering in every interview she always talks about her marriage. So logically, it makes zero sense why either of them would participate in a public fight like that where people were videotaping them. In addition to that, I also felt like if Justin was yelling at Hailey and berating her in public, somebody from his entourage would have quickly stepped up and tried to hide the interaction. Instead, everyone seems for the most part pretty calm, cool, and collected. I know some of you were DMing me saying that it looks like her friend was trying to go up there and intervene. Obviously, we don't know, we weren't there, but I feel like if they were really fighting, one of the security guards would have definitely stepped up and tried to hide them. I just feel like overall there would have been more action taken. Now, having said all of that, me personally, if my husband was pointing in my face and raising his voice, adrenaline or not, I probably would have bopped him in the nose. I don't care how much adrenaline you have, I don't care how amped up you are from being on stage. To me personally, that behavior would be unacceptable. No one is pointing in my face like that and getting away with it, I'll tell you that much. Now, if Hailey accepts that behavior of Justin just being excited after he performed a few of his songs in a Vegas nightclub, then good for her. If she doesn't think that behavior is unacceptable or a sign of something not great for the future, then also good for her. Us here on the internet, we cannot hate on people for how their marriage works and how they make things work. Obviously, we can say it wouldn't be for us or we wouldn't personally want something like that, but if that works for them, that works for them. Me personally, I just wouldn't love that, especially considering multiple sources confirmed that they pre-gamed before the event, they were drinking a lot of 818 tequila. I know myself, and I know in that situation, there is zero chance I would have seen a raised voice and a finger pointed like that. I would have not seen that as someone having adrenaline. I definitely would have seen that as something else. But again, just because we feel that way and just because we wouldn't appreciate someone pointing at us and raising their voice and having adrenaline and telling a story in that way doesn't mean that Justin was yelling at Hailey, doesn't mean that Justin was berating Hailey. It just means that some people would be okay with that behavior from their significant others and some people wouldn't be okay with that behavior from their significant others. That's it. And the last thing I want to make crystal clear, I do not think that Justin was angrily yelling at Hailey. I do think that he was amped up. I do think that he had adrenaline. Just for me personally, I wouldn't appreciate how he was expressing that adrenaline. But again, that's just me. That's not Hailey. I do also want to say that I think the internet will start to shift its narrative now that all of these headlines are going out there clarifying that Justin was not yelling at Hailey Bieber. So Scooter Braun is absolutely doing his job. If you don't think Scooter Braun is out there pointing certain publications in certain directions, I'm so sorry to tell you that you are mistaken. And that's not me hating on Scooter Braun. That's his job at the end of the day. It's very clear that one publication was kind of picked as the one to kind of start this Justin Bieber was not yelling at Hailey narrative, and other publications have followed. So the plan worked. It's very successful. And the last thing I want to say is I do not think this is the last time we're going to hear about this viral video. This is not the last time we're going to hear about this video where Justin was seemingly yelling at Hailey or Justin had adrenaline pointed at Hailey. I definitely think we're going to hear about this again. I can absolutely see Hailey talking about this video on her YouTube channel in some way, shape, or form. I think she'll tie it back to her mental health and how it really affected her. She's done this before. She talked about that previous viral TikTok about that girl who worked in a restaurant and said that Hailey was rude. She talked about how it really bothered her. So I feel like it's a definite possibility that Hailey will address this TikTok at some point, but I think she's gonna wait for it to die down a little bit before she does. Again, that's just my own personal opinion. There's also a possibility that she'll never bring it up again. She'll never want to bring it up again. Honestly, with Justin and Hailey, they're another couple where you just never really know. So yeah, that's all I have for you on Justin and Hailey. I want to hear your thoughts on this video, how you interpreted it, all of that good stuff down below. Here in the House of Hill, we always try to keep things respectful, even when we disagree. So just keep that in mind while you're down there in the comments. Also, while you guys are at it, please give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget that notification bell. While you're at it, make sure you give me a follow over on Instagram and TikTok. And of course, don't forget to check out my merch store at houseofhill.com. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.